In this video, I'm going to tell you about one of the worst financial mistakes I've made. Yeah, buying a flashy used sports car. The engine blew up, I lost thousands, and honestly, in hindsight, it's one of the best mistakes I've ever made. And I'm here to publicly tell you about it on YouTube. Let me explain. I've always been a fan of sports cars. I've always loved them, admired them. I've always wanted one of my own when I was growing up. And when I finally got a job in finance, I started to save and scrimp. To be honest, I don't really have much, need for like designer clothes. It is stuff that doesn't interest me, but that's something I've always been interested in. Sports car, right? So I save up. I already have one. I've got a nice little Focus ST, but I want to start flexing. I want to start impressing my friends. Want to give myself the perception that I've made it, that I can only go up from here, right? So do a little bit of online, spend all my nights on Auto Trader as some of us do, and I come across a nice Audi RS4, so I thought. So went ahead, bit the bullet, purchased that bad boy. Didn't know how to do checks on the car, didn't do any due diligence. For a guy who's been scrimping and saving for like 3+ years, I bought it without doing any checks. Anyways, I bought it, right? 6 months later, the engine's blown. I've got to get stuff replaced on it. The bill comes to like £3,000. This is the first bit of money I've ever got for myself. I've earned it from my blood, sweat and tears working. I'm stuck with a car that doesn't work and I have to pay £3,000 just to actually get it to work. Wasn't a good situation for me. I pay the bill because what can I do? But now I'm without a car. I have to borrow my friend's car. I drive it around for a little bit, about 2 weeks. You'll never guess what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, the engine also blew on that car. It was a little Volkswagen Scirocco. Yeah, it just went as well. So lo and behold, what did I have to do? That wasn't that expensive, only £1,000. So now I'm down 2 cars blown up. My luck probably can't get any worse. Totaled 2 cars somehow in the space of 2 months. Not looking great for me. I'm left with a dilemma at this point. I kind of want to sell the RS4 now. It's not reliable and it's still kind of having some issues and I'm having to baby it even though it's being repaired. So I end up trying to sell it. It takes a while. I end up selling it for, I think, a £3,000 loss. Let me do the math for you if you've not been following along. That's £4,000 for 2 engine repairs total, and that's another £3,000 for me selling the car at a loss. Might have even been £4,000, I don't even remember anymore. So we're talking 7 to 8 grand I've lost on this car. Now for somebody who's just started his savings, who's just kind of started making a little bit of money, that was a huge blow to me. Financially, mentally, it didn't put me in a good place, right? I was left with a decision at that point, and the decision was, do I look at getting something else kind of remotely similar so I can continue to kind of show people I've not gone backwards, or do I make the smart decision, which is get something that's actually reliable, that I can actually use on a day-to-day basis and it won't set me back? Because my savings are now dwindling because of all this stuff. I've had to get it recovered, I've had to pay for extra insurance, I've messed my friend's car up. Money is like bleeding at this point for me and I need to stop it. So I make a decision that at that time I hated, and it was, I bought a nice little reliable Honda Civic. I hated it, to be frank, and I hated that what felt like a downgrade to me, and in everybody else's eyes, my perception was that I failed. I tried to show that I had quote unquote made it by buying this flashy RS4, and now I'm driving a Honda Civic like less than a year later or something. But you know what? Now that it's been quite a while, buying that Honda Civic was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I learned that wealth building isn't in showing exotic cars that you're driving or designer gear or luxury holidays. It's in investing in assets that actually do make you money. And the funny thing is, you can't go around showing people your bank balance or your assets that you've invested in or properties that you own. You drive around a car and you get flashy clothes to show off. That's not the way to success. And it kind of put me right on a journey where I had to learn about investing, being smart with my money. To be honest, in the end, not caring about what people think, because the people that I bought the RS for, it was for myself, but also it was for my own perception that I had made it, and it's to show other people that I've made it too. When I downgraded to the Honda Civic, the only people that really cared were people that weren't really important to my life. My close friends and family, they were upset that, I had lost so much money, but it doesn't change anything for them fundamentally. Honestly, it was proper eye-opening, and it's something that I think that if I hadn't made that mistake, I don't know if I would have been better off for it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, this happened to me, and I took it as a learning opportunity. And sometimes these things happen to everyone. You always get financially knocked back in some way, because life isn't easy. There is always something that happens to you. This is just one of my stories, and sometimes it's shameful to admit this stuff. I think there's a stigma, you kind of want to hide away these vulnerabilities. But I think if this even helps one person, makes them think twice about doing something like this, that's kind of done the deal for me. So that about wraps it up. Have you got any stories of your own like this? I would honestly love to hear them and share the pain a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be it for me. I hope this kind of brought some insight, kind of showed you not everything's great for everybody. There are hidden horror stories. This was one of mine that I've never really spoke about. See ya.